Hey there, this is Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up, Sunday, April 12th, 2020. So today I'm going to talk about the current transits and channel my perspective of the astrology and my interpretation of what's going on right now in the skies and what jumps out at me. So beside me here, I've got the current transits pulled up, so that's what I'm referring to. If you see me look to the side, that's what I'm looking at. So I want to start off by saying that I believe everyone has psychic abilities. We're all intuitive. Just like we can all see, we can all hear, we can all taste, we can all touch. So it's not some out of the world weird thing to have intuitive abilities. In fact, it's super normal and everyone has them. Now, some people's volume is turned up extra loud and super obvious. Other people's volume is turned really down low or off. Doesn't mean you can't turn the volume back on or turn it up, all right? So, and I'll tell you the number one distraction for being able to tune into your own intuition is the mind. Think. Well, everything we've been programmed, blah, 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 the tapes that are running, get in the way of us being able to access the intuition. So I believe the intuition is the connection to the higher self, the divine self, the Christ self, the Buddha self. Whatever you want to term, you want to attach to the divine within each one of us, right? So the intuition is the voice of that, I believe. That's my belief system, that our inner voice is our inner GPS system. And if we listen to our intuition and follow its guidance and lead, we will be on the exact right path for our lives. So that's what I believe about that. So now to the current transits. Okay. Major theme that's been going on for the last year and a half, and it's wrapping up, is the North Node moving through Cancer and the South Node moving through Capricorn. So this is the paradigm of the divine feminine versus the divine masculine. And the North Node is where we're asked to learn and develop and put our energies. The South Node is our collective karma. So we've been experiencing for the last year and a half this movement towards listening to our own intuition. Moving through Cancer is moving through the divine feminine, listening to intuition, seeing women's issues come into the forefront over the last year and a half. And then conversely, the karma attached to the male patriarchal world and all that has brought about in our lives and shifting and changing of that's been called up recently because major players are also there in Capricorn. Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Mars, they've all been having a party hoedown in Capricorn, all sort of changing up the theme of how we've structured our lives, where we've put our emphasis, where we've put our money, where we've stored things. Like that's all been shifting and changing and being transformed. So the karma, karma is both positive and negative. It's not just negative. It's a collection. Like your bank account could be positive or negative. It's what you've put into. It shows up as your karma. So collectively, our karma is showing up with issues that are showing up in the male patriarchal world versus the divine feminine. And also at one degree, in Cancer, it's asking us, what do we feel about ourselves? What do we feel is true about us? And nurturing, we've all been asked to do self-care. If you've been better at self-care for the last year and a half, then you've been in rhythm and listening to this directive of the intuition. And this is for everyone. Men too, this is your divine feminine nature. Women, we have divine masculine and feminine, males, both. Like those of you who are seeing it all already are kind of, I think, ahead of us. We all have that within us. So this is a reconciling of this within us. And so this is sort of the culmination of the project, as it were, is coming to a head. Like, did you learn your lessons of the North Node in Cancer, of how to nurture yourself better, how to listen to your inner voice? Letting go of karma attached to how we've structured things in the past or how the male patriarchal world has seen things. So that's the north-south node as I see it, and that's what's jumping out to me right now anyway. Sun's been moving through Aries. So as the sun has been moving through Aries, it's asking us all to kind of look at how we feel about ourselves. As it moves to the early degrees of Aries, and then at the mid degrees of Aries is how we feel about our relationship to the world, and then it gets into a spiritual octave in the last steps. And so this Tuesday, the sun will be in a square with Pluto. Pluto represents death and transformation. It's empowerment. It's a power player. Pluto don't play. And so anytime you have a major aspect with Pluto, you're going to feel it. We're already feeling it ahead of time. We feel stuff ahead of time. I do. I feel things ahead of time. Many of you do too. I'm not alone in that. But Tuesday can be gnarly. The sun square Pluto can be power struggles showing up in your personal lives. It could be power struggles showing up nationally, globally. It can be super intensive. And during the day, the moon's also going to go over that, also illuminating that whole thing. So Tuesday could be our most gnarly day we've seen so far this year, really. The next day, the sun is square Jupiter, which is sort of a beneficent day. So it goes from gnarly, oh my goodness, to shift in belief systems, awakenings, aha moments. Turning points can happen with the sun square Pluto. You can just I've had enough. Some people are already reaching this. I know several close friends this week have already had a major turning point. So you can feel this ahead of time and already be having this act out in your life. It could also happen after this shift. Something on a world scale, I believe, is going to happen on Tuesday that's going to be noticeable for everyone. And then intuitively, personally, can also be intensive. Lots of self-care that day, lots of spiritual practices, a lot of deep breathing, drink lots of water, get lots of rest, go into this awake so that you're not it's like transits. Knowing about transits to me is like knowing about the weather forecast. Do you have to know about them? No. But I kind of like knowing that we are under a chance of thunderstorms and I should maybe not go out today, or that it's going to be 100 and whatever, and not the day to plan something outside. I like to know what the weather's going to be. I'm finding the astrology transits are much like that for me. It's just knowing goes, oh, okay. Just because it's thunderstorms doesn't mean it's going to rock my world, but it's good to know thunderstorms are in the air. So, okay, here's another intensive. Chiron and Black Lilith are both in early degrees of Aries. So they've been working out. Chiron represents, the wounded healer. It's where we've been wounded. Again, collectively. So collectively, we've all been focused and being asked to look at where have you been wounded in how you feel about yourself. What you think about yourself as it was going through the different degrees, right? And so, and then Black Lilith represents our fears. And so what are our deepest fears in relationship to ourselves? And so these are being highlighted right now they're close to Chiron and Black Lilith have been doing this dance. They're a degree apart right now. So it's woundedness and fears are highlighted. And then Mercury's going to traipse over that this week too. So it's actually going to be able to help us bring a healing. Mercury represents our thoughts and how we communicate. So as it crosses over Chiron, it's an opportunity to heal how we think about ourselves, a communication, something we're saying. There could be a real healing shift and an aha moment around what we think about ourselves, how we've been operating. And then it's going to move and do the same thing going across Black Lilith, an opportunity to heal fears that we have. So this is a great opportunity for healing week in the middle of this gnarly stuff, if you take that and run with it. Uranus is in Taurus right now. It's been there it's been almost 2 years. It moved in there. Summertime will be 2 years ago. So it's been shaking up the earth. Taurus represents the earth. So it's been shaking up the earth. It's been shaking up what we value, our foods, how we store things, our money, our financial markets. These are things I've already said. And it'll continue to do this for the next 6 years. So we're not over with this Uranus ride. The good news with Uranus, it never shakes anything up without replacing it with something better. So anything that gets torn down, any structures that get decimated right now with Taurus will be replaced with something better. So that's the good news. Doesn't mean it feels good as if something's getting broken down. Okay, so we've got Neptune in Pisces right now. So Neptune is the psychic planet. Pisces is a very spiritual sign. So Neptune in Pisces is a wonderful opportunity to tap into your spiritual life and tap into your psychic life, because intuition, dreams, visions can be super powerful right now with Neptune in Pisces. But if you're trying to think things through, Neptune can make the mind feel nebulous and foggy and make you want to just check out and pick up the substance to numb yourself with. And so it's been being there for a while. It's going to be, it is what it is right now. Let's see, what degree is it? Neptune is at 19 degrees. So, I'm looking at my chart. I've got my birth chart pulled out, because when I do readings for people, that's what I do. I pull up their birth chart and then run the transits around it. So it's just the easiest reference point for me. I'm talking about things that are affecting everyone. Where Pluto shows up in your chart would be, and Aries shows up in your chart would be special places where this would be activated this week. And so any planets you have in Capricorn, any planets you have in Aries. If you have planets in Capricorn and planets in Aries, you're going to feel this transit stronger. Also, wherever it shows up in your chart. And that's where getting a personal reading can help you just define this and how this is going to really show up for you personally, because some people feel these transits in bigger ways than others depending on where it shows up in your chart. So, Venus is in Gemini right now. So, it's an opportunity for new inventions to come upon the scene. New forms of communication here. We are all, communicating online in a way more than we have before. But Venus, Gemini is ruled by the head. So it has the tendency to throw us up with Venus. Venus is what we love, what we want to put our energy into. It's also our relationships and what we're passionate about. But as it's moving through Gemini, it's an air sign it's ruled by Mercury, which rules the head, which makes us want to think about what we're passionate about, want to think things through. And again, with Neptune being it's better to kind of intuit and feel it through, get the download. If you've got some clear thinking right now, then I'm impressed. Most of us don't. I don't have clear thinking on a daily basis because I follow my intuition first and then let my mind come up. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Whereas if people try to figure it out first, can figure their way into a box. They can make the wrong decisions. They can, it can be logical and rational as it can be, and then just be not the right thing for your life. So that's why following an intuition leads you in the right place. Okay. Saturn and Mars are in Aquarius. So interesting, when Saturn moved into Aquarius is when they passed this legislation and everybody was going to get paid. So Aquarius is humanity, everyone. So Mars is there too. So what's happening now, this week, we're going to get those stimulus checks. Mars is all right, let's help everyone out right now. Right now, all the planets are moving forward. That is not going to be the case. We're going to have some retrograde stuff happening. I'm not going to talk about that today because this week there's no retro. So this week, it's about moving forward. It's a power struggles could be one of the themes of this week. Internal power struggles with significant others, power struggles with work, power struggles in our government, power struggles in our world can really show up with the Pluto-Mars square. And then the Jupiter Mars square the next day is going to be like, oh, beautiful kisses, insights, and beneficent things coming. So it's a roller coaster ride this week. The moon has been going through Sag. I've noticed it in my, people are not locked down in this hood. Like, people are in their cars and out and about, and because moon's been running through Sag. It's a fire sign. So it makes people want to be social. And makes it harder for those that are sitting at home, getting more antsy. So if you've been super antsy to connect with people, it's because the moon's been going through Sag. It's been saying, party, let's go travel, let's go visit people. And you can't, so, except for this way, right? It's moving into Capricorn, more logical, more practical. It's going to be moving across this Pluto square the sun, and then Jupiter square the sun. It's moving over that. So it's going to be a really interesting week. And people have been asking me, when is all this going to end? I don't know. I kind of just stick really close to even in my own personal life, I just follow sort of a daily guidance. I've been doing that for a while. I've been chanting an hour in the morning, and then I write down everything that I get downloaded while I'm chanting, and it gives me the direction for the day. And I go do those things. Do I get to everything I feel guided about every day? No, because I'm not perfect and life is life. But I've been wired like that for a while now. So it's interesting to me, being the psychic, that following my own inner guidance on a daily basis, that I've already been crowd avoidant for a couple years now. Not because of worrying about germs, but because of the frenetic energy and just feeling like, oh, no, I prefer to be home by myself. Even with my spiritual practice, I love to go to Buddhist meetings and connect with other Buddhists. But in the last couple of years, I've been preferring to stay home and chant for a couple hours instead of going to a meeting. So I've been refurbishing my at-home practice has been strengthening. Last year I chanted an hour every day. This year at the beginning of the year I was chanting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day sometimes. And I was like, just died, couldn't get enough. Just wanted to keep chanting. And I was like, God, I've never had been like this. 36 years of Buddhist practices, and I've never wanted to just chant all day. Just like some days, but not like I've been for months and months. And then when the coronavirus hit, I'm like, okay, I get why I was feeling called to chant, so I can raise my life condition above the collective of fear. And that's what spiritual practices do for us. That's the other thing I feel like I'm guided to end and finish with today, is that spiritual practices of any kind tap us into our inner spiritual self. Today's Easter. You can call that your Christ self. You can call that your Buddha nature, your higher self, your divine self. We all have a piece of the divine with us. It's part of our soul that carries on after the body gets put to rest. It's the voice of that is the way to follow. I've said that before, but I want to say that again. It is the voice of the intuition that is the correct voice to follow. Our mind does not know, especially when we're on a completely new playing field. Astrologers I follow say we're in unprecedented times, which means we don't have a historical record of what these lineup looks like and how that's going to play out. But listening to intuition on a daily basis, we don't have to know. Here, we just have to know what today we feel to do. So I've homeschooled all 6 of my kids. My youngest kid is already homeschooling. So, that wasn't a big shift for me with this big change. I already do 90% of my readings over the phone. So that really hasn't changed. I felt really called to upping my spiritual practices for months and months and months now. The other interesting thing, last summer, my youngest son started driving, and we have one vehicle and we share it, and he's in rock bands and has a lot of band practice and such. And I was carting him to all those before. Well, once he got his own license, it was like, bye-bye. I'm not going to carve out hours of my day to take you to band practice a day. And so I immediately realized, boy, if I just ground at home and just leave getting in a car and getting outside in the world. I live in Austin, Texas, and the frenetic energy is cray-cray when it comes to traffic here, especially because everyone is moving here. I've been here since 81. It wasn't always the story, but now it is. I was blaming it on traffic, but even driving around now without much traffic. It's still frenetic. There's lots of people freaking out, and doing all their techno stuff in this town, and I feel it. So lifting ourselves above the collective is so important. Lifting us up out of the paradigm of fear. We can choose love. We can choose trust. We can open it. To me, I chase down the worst case scenario in this thing too. Okay, so the worst case scenario would be that I would get coronavirus, okay? Chances are I would survive it. It may be not fun, but I would survive it. Worst case scenario, it would kill me. I'm not afraid to die because I know I've seen so many crossovers to know that we're met with loved ones on the other side. We take a break and then we jump back in the body and come do it again. So I believe in reincarnation, and the death is not the end of the soul. So when you track down, really all fears track down to the fear of death. And if you can reconcile and be okay with dying, or someone you love dying, you can really alleviate the fear. Okay, our worst case scenario is I die. Okay, well, I'm going to die at some point, and I'm not afraid of that. And I've done it lots of lifetimes, and I've remembered some of those transitions. So anything else do I feel guided to say today? Please turn off the TVs. Please get small doses of the news right now. I think it's important to be informed, to know what's going on. But marinating yourself in this terrifying bad news stuff is not cool, not good, and doesn't do anything for us. So, do things that uplift yourself. I think spiritual practices are the way to go right now. I've been chanting lots, breath work, soaking in the tub, taking walks, calling friends, doing meditations online. There's a myriad of ways to tap in and get beyond the fear. And so I want to challenge you to do that. I want to challenge you to find the hope, to find the love, to find the inspiration, and trust that no matter what, we're going to transform this. Things are going to be really different on the other side of this, but they're going to be better, ultimately. That's what I know. That's what I believe. And that all I have to do is ask myself today, what today do I feel guided to do? And I'm going to give you that for a homework assignment, that you get up at every morning, you find some sort of quiet time, and you ask your inner voice, not your mind, what today do I feel guided to do? So guided is the key. Here's other words you could use. What would bring me joy if I did it today? What would bring my heart fullness to do it today? What feels inspiring to do today? Those are hints. That's the line. The inner voice is a very loving, sweet, affirming, because it's coming from the divine, which is the nectar of goodness and love. The mind has a tendency to, you need to do this, you should do this. It's a total different energy that comes from the mind. So I invite you all to quiet the mind so that you know what today you're guided to do. And if you do that every day, that's all you need, right? It's one of the 12-step slogans, one day at a time. I think is a really wise one. Just stay in this one day, today. Do you have all the toilet paper you need? Do you have all the food you need? Do you have a place to stay? Do you have do you have all your basic needs today? If you do, then let the fear go and enjoy that you have all your needs met today. All right? And don't, do the same thing the next day. So that's Psyched Up on this Easter Sunday, April 12th. I hope that's helped you in some way. If you need to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me through my website, which is KarenMariePsychic.com. KarenMariePsychic.com. Y'all have a blessed day.